Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Dr. Morey Mossovitz, with my all-time most favorite, most wonderful co-host, Jen Albanese. Welcome, Jen.
Hello, Morey. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. What's going on?
So we have a special situation today. We actually do not have a guest. It's just going to be
know.
us.
I mean, don't turn off already because we don't.
No.
It's just us. But
So we kind of dove into it and said, you know what, like it would be nice to reflect on some of the things that we've learned and want to share some of our favorite tips that we've actually put into motion, in our career life and from our past guests. So that's what we're going to do on this episode, is kind of break down the things that we feel like have been helpful to us.
yeah, I think it's cool to kind of step back and reflect a little bit. We've had some incredible guests in season 2, and a lot of them have had such impactful tips and tricks. And we always say like, oh my God, that's so good. Like we're learning all the time. But like some of these ones that we're going to pick out, we put into practice like every single day.
Yeah.
Like we're using them in our own careers. We're trying to, impart them on our staffs and the people that we work with. So again, this has been such a cool experience, I feel like, for you and I to really
100%.
learn a lot. And I don't think you get to do that a lot in your career, is learn as you go. So this has been like we always say, one of my favorite parts of doing this. It's like every week we're learning, we're growing, we're trying to push ourselves. So it's really cool. There's a lot of professional development opportunities out there.
Right. And
they're not, yeah.
You should do them and you should find ways to do
absolutely.
it. But this has been pretty special for Jen and I because it's given us a chance to connect, but also to reflect. And I don't think either of us kind of realized the impact that it would have on us. So hopefully it's having impact on everybody out there as well, especially those young people that are trying to get into the career field. But if you're someone that's just a listener that, every day is looking, how do you contribute to your career? Like hopefully you're getting out of it the same things that we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that you can, really try to implement. And like, it's cool because it's real life experiences too from all of these guests that we've had. And I think my favorite part is like their examples that they share, because you can even if you're listening, you're like, oh, something like that happened to me, or something like that happened to one of my coworkers. And that's so interesting how that person handled it as compared to maybe how I handled it or my coworker handled it. So it's cool to be able to hear, because, in athletics, we're all in the same kind of situations. We're all dealing with the same things, just in different parts of the country. Different versions, exactly. So, sometimes when you hear other people say, like, these are the challenges we face, or these are the things that I do to try to get through some of these things, it makes you feel like, okay, we're all in this together, and we're all kind of forging forward in our careers and trying to make things better every single day. So
100%.
Yeah, so it's been really cool, and we hope everybody's been enjoying it. So obviously, if you guys have like comments or questions or feedback, please share those with us on social. Like, we love to hear from everybody. And if you have guests that you want to have on, or certain areas of sport that you want to learn from, like we were talking with some former guests, like getting some data people on to talk about certain things. So we love that, and we love to hear that feedback. It's just another way for us to get better. So it's really
connect.
Cool.
So I do want to put it behind the scenes in everyone's ear. We do not coordinate our outfits.
I know we had to say it. We had to say it.
So for those of people who are listening on like their iPods or like not iPods, on podcasts, like not a video cast, we do have almost the exact same color shirts on right now.
Literally the same color. I wore this to work today, so this is what I had on. He already knew I had this on.
I honestly didn't pay that much of attention. Know that probably doesn't shock Jen. Though I do know that she looks very presentable and professional. I could not have told you what she wore today. So when I put on this shirt to go work with my kids, I did not, because I took off my button down. Army green.
I love it.
That reflects back
color.
to one of my tips is going to actually connect to Army green. So
pull that up. I love it.
But we don't. But if you want to know, Jen does keep track. So she does not like to repeat.
Now you're putting the pressure on me. Everybody that's going to listen will be like, oh, we saw that one in season 1. And I'm be like,
I definitely listen. We will like do a shout out prize for somebody that can call out Jen as a double dipped in her wardrobe thing.
Never happen.
She's like taking notes every time. And I'm like,
I have a list.
I think I wore the same shirt like 20 times. So I clearly there's a difference.
List if everybody's looking. Look at that.
And we're on episode 89. Like that's
I think we're on like episode 100. So there's probably some times I missed in there.
Yeah, so, it's like the Christmas episode where you wore the same sweater twice.
Where I wear the same sweatshirt, and that doesn't count, everybody. You don't get a prize for that. But yes, we didn't even plan this, so it's perfect for our solo episode of just the two of us today. It's perfect.
And so as we twin it into this new episode, we will get everyone after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. All right, everybody, welcome back. I don't know what to do here. I go, Morey, what am I saying?
You say welcome back. That's how it works. So you don't need our bios, but I'm going to start us off, we decided. And the Army green works really well because we're going right into an Army guy. And I keep going to this because I really respect this guy. I've known him for a long time. And that's Thomas Theodorakis, or Theo, as many people call him. And his talking about putting yourself out there and going to your supervisor and say, how can I take things off your plate? And this one is one that, I always kind of tried to do that in some form of like, how can I advance myself and get better? But I've been more strategic about how I talk to people that have been my supervisor and say, like, what can I do to make your life easier? It gives me potential for growth. And I've actually like strategized with them on it. And to the point where, I'm doing some new things, and the person that's my supervisor, like a lot of my roles are really going to be based around that. And I find that to be like awesome. And a lot of that, I think I developed the interest and kind of the thought process and some of the things that Tom or Theo had said about like, it's a way for you to grow, but it's a way for you to create a support system. And I find that to be like such an empowering part of doing things in my role now.
I mean, it's so important. And again, I think when Thomas was talking about it, it really like struck a chord with both of us, because we're in leadership positions, but we're always trying to get better. We're always trying to, grow in our role, whether it's into a new role or grow even more in the current role that we have, taking on more responsibility, which I think we kind of both are in that kind of position right now.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think you're always in some form. Like if you're doing like even, our new athletic director that we're working with, like, I feel like he is even saying like, how can I better the institution and grow and do stuff. So even I think if you're at the top, I think that's, and especially like Thomas is an athletic director. He like showed it, like the superintendent of Army. I think he truly believes like part of his role is like, how can I help? How can I take things off of someone's plate? So I think it's great.
It is. It's a really impactful like tip. And it's funny because I see it now from the other side too. Like I see some of my staff saying it to me.
I do too. I'm so like, much more cognizant of it.
It stops me in my tracks because I have that thought process in my mind. And like for yourself to do it, it makes like you get it from your side of things. But then when you see your staff saying to you like, hey, I see you got a lot going on today. What can I take off your plate? Like I literally step back and I'm like, holy crap, maybe they're listening to the podcast, which is the first thing I think about, which is great in itself. And second of all, I'm like, that's such a growth mindset, which really gives me so much confidence in the staff that I have for them to feel like they can come to me and say those things. So not only does it help me, it also makes me reflect when my staff say it to me. And that's really cool to me to see that from the other side too, I think.
It's also made me think about being more thoughtful about like, what am I able to give them and how am I giving to them? So like, it's funny as it was about like helping your supervisor, it's made me think of it as a supervisor, like what is really a quality thing that one is going to help me and my role, but also to help them develop more.
Right.
So it's really been like as little a tip as someone might thought it was. I feel like both of us have said from time to time that was really impactful on us.
Yeah, it really is. It's the two-prong approach of it of, how do you help them? Like, how do you learn to delegate better? Like, that's also something that you can get from this. Like, okay, they're asking what in my mind can I give to them that will help them, but also help me. Right. And then that frees me up to be able to help the person ahead, like above me. And so it's a chain reaction. And I think more people need to have that mindset of like, how do we help each other grow and get better at what we're doing? So,
and I would even go to the fact of like someone that's new in a supervisory role, and you see this from time to time, are afraid to delegate and afraid to do that. And that is actually the opposite of what you should be doing. Like if you get put into these leadership roles, it's because someone thinks you have the potential to foster and develop and grow people. Yeah. So when you do have staff coming, they're not looking to take your job or looking to do all these things that can, I think, be threatening in the world of athletics. Like people are always, I think, a little insecure about things because it is a high pressure and, competitive field. But the reality is like, that's why you've been put in those roles, especially if you're supervising people, to like foster, grow them. And, I always have said to people that have like questioned this of like, the impact that those people make are a reflection of how good you're being a leader. Right.
Of how you are as a leader and a boss. Exactly.
So like this tip has really like kind of made me think through, and I've always thought it have over the time that he has said it, have kind of reflected on it. So that was my first one. So
great one. That's a good one.
What do you got?
So my first one, and this goes for my girl, Andrea, who we had probably about a month ago, Andrea Doa, who's now down at West Texas. I miss her so much, but she had
got promoted recently.
Yes,
congratulations.
That's my girl. And it was kind of funny at the time when she said it about WWMJD, what would Morey and Jen do? But when I re-listened to that tip that she gave, it was really about listening and learning. Yeah. And for me, as a leader, that is how I've always based how I learned to be a better leader, is by listening to other people. And I think that was so cool, the way she put it in the context of like, we'd be in a meeting and she would just listen on how we handled a problem that would arise or a challenge that we had to face with another, whether it was a staff member or a sports team, a coach, a budget issue, whatever, how we would handle that. She would not even realize subconsciously she was learning on how to handle those situations from us. So very cool. Not that I would say I'm perfect at how I handle every situation, but for me, I reflected on that of like, even in the situation that we're in now, where we have a new athletic director and some new staff coming in, like for me, it's going to all be about listening. Like, what are their goals? What are their priorities? How are they shaping the department towards the future? And the only way you're going to learn that is if you listen. It can't be, this is how we do things. And they're going to want feedback. They're going to want to know how we do things, but we have to listen and learn from them on how they want things to do. So like, that's so how I'm forward thinking with that one. So that one was really cool, the way she put that. I loved how she said it was us, but I thought that was cool.
I do love the fundamentals of the tip. And to be honest, something that I don't think all the time I've been great at, because I really appreciate the fact of like, and something that I actively am trying to be more aware of, especially more recent. It's been something over like the past 2 years. I think I've been like more cognizant of like sometimes sit back and be in the room and let it come to you and like try and do those things, because honestly, I've been mentored by, I think, a lot of people that had big personalities and put themselves out in the room. And I felt like I needed to model that. Like if I wasn't putting things out into the room and I wasn't kind of,
you weren't contributing. You felt like you weren't contributing. Right.
Then I wasn't, getting, being productive or doing my part of doing what needs to happen. And the honest part of it is, I think that, now it needs to be like more selective. Like, okay, I need to really listen. I need to see what's going on. And if I'm going to say something in the room, what is that purpose for that and how like, and you got to do
what
it
is that
quickly.
contribution? What is that?
What is it contributing, or what is it really doing to the situation? Is it helping? Is it hurting? Is it something that's more for just one person in the room and not the whole room? And like, I can have that conversation later with them and be like, hey, when we were in this meeting, it made me think about this for what we're doing here, or what was going on. So it really has made me think more, because you have to be present and take it in, not always be like trying to put it out.
Right.
And I think that, Andrea was a really good example of like, that can be so beneficial, and something that I feel like I'm going to continue to remind myself, like, be present, be aware of what's going on, and be open to learn, like, cause clearly like you don't know everything. And there's so many things that, I mean, recently I feel like I've learned so much just by being open and thinking about things, and, being aware of what's out there.
Yeah. I think, it was funny. I think she said something like, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. Like you can, and I think sometimes younger people feel like in order to prove their worth or prove that this is the job they deserve, they have to say something. They have to have a comment. And it's good to be engaging. Like, I don't think, we're saying sit there in the corner and not talk, but being selective on what you're contributing to that conversation and if it's really beneficial for you and for the conversation, I think is really important. So listening is such a key thing. And I feel like a lot of guests have said it in different ways, but I really liked the way Andrea said it, of like, I'm listening with and realizing I'm learning without even doing it.
Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to somebody today about like a meeting dynamic and just concerns about like some people having, longer pieces of the meeting and talking a lot, and then other people don't have space in the room to contribute. And I think that it's important of like, listen, say what you need to say. But also having, as a supervisor, that was kind of like one of the thoughts, is a platform for people to get out and communicate through everyone in the room, to have a moment.
Everyone have a chance to talk. Exactly.
And that was something like I have realized too, is that for those people that might be more focused on being the listener in the room and doing everything, like giving them space to kind of, it might not be a lot, it might be a quick thing, but giving them the room to be able to put stuff out there, because that might not, like, your preference or your way of doing it might be to be the listener, and then you're not always getting heard. So I think it's also good. You have to do both sides to make sure that if you're a leader, you're giving space for people to talk. But as a person in the room, like being selective about when to make those comments.
Absolutely. So good. So good. So thank you, Andrea. Great one. And we'll work on the merch. Remember, we were going to do merch on that. I was listening and I'm like, she wanted a hat. So we'll have to work on that.
She wanted a hat. We'll have to get some of that. That should be your area.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Market the merch.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right, what do you got? What's your next one?
Number 3, and it's me. And I'm going to go with Drew. And Drew put it like as succinctly as possible, like, be where your butt is. And
I love it.
Like, it's a catchy phrase, and the reality is like, more, in the last couple years or period of time, like, it is so easy, and I think it's talked about over and over again. We've said it, I think, so many times, about looking at what other people are doing, or trying to like figure out, what's happening with my career, or what's going on, or what they're doing here or there, or, just being so worried about everything outside of your zone. And for me, I really realized when I stopped focusing on that at times, or, I wouldn't say obsessing of it, but having these like thoughts about, okay, this is distracting me. And I just said, you know what, this is where I am. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. It opportunities opened up for me.
Right.
And I let them just take their own course and have discussions and be there. And it led me to what I want to do and where I want to go, and personal growth. And that's because I was just being present in what I was doing, and not worrying about all these other things. And then, I was talking to someone that was saying, the funniest things is every time when they had a big professional change, it was always in the time when they just said, you know what, you kind of are not looking for it in the same way. Like you could apply to it, but like when you're really trying to move on for something, or you feel like you need to do X, Y, or Z, it probably feels like the longest because you're putting so much effort into something that really will come if you just put your focus on what you're doing.
Right. It's like the classic FOMO. Everybody just wants to have everybody else. Like you look on Instagram and everybody's getting the promotions and getting the new jobs. And you're like,
exactly.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the same spot. And like, I've said this a couple
of times. I'm this age.
I'm this age. I'm not at this point in my career.
This person that was my intern and now they're doing this. And like,
exactly. And so it's the classic FOMO. And I think, staying in your own space, everybody has their own journey. Right. No one's going to have the same journey. No one's going to have the same rise to where you want to go. And throughout your career, you may think at 25, you know what you want to do, but at 35, that dream job is totally different. 100%. That journey completely changes. So I think you need to be open to everything, but know that you need to do the best job at where you're at. And that's when opportunities come. That's when new opportunities open up. That's when another job option comes up, or you get more responsibility, or you get this. Like, I people say that about life too. It doesn't have to be just about career. Like when you want to have a baby and you can't have a baby, and then you don't care anymore, and then you get pregnant. Like, so 100%. It's, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just focusing and being present. I think sometimes is something that a lot of people forget, especially young people, because they're like, I got to get to that next level. I got to get to that next job. Well, you're not going to get that next job if you don't prove that you're good at the current job you're in. And the reality of this I think for older people too, and I've had this discussions with like colleagues, is like, it's not about accepting everything that's happening in your job and just being like, okay, this place is what it like. It's about looking at it from a strategic point of view. It's about looking at things about like being present in what you're doing, accepting where you think you can make growth, and being strategic about where you need to maybe have some acceptance. And acceptance isn't failure. Acceptance is just at the moment, that's the situation that you can feel most productive about. And so that's what being where your butt is means. It means that you are being aware of what's going on with you at that moment, and doing it the best you can with the institution or the organization in which you're working in. It's all about mindset. As you say that, like, that's what I think about, is like, it's all about your shift in mindset. If you have this negative mindset of like, oh, I'm still where I'm at, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything, shift that mindset of, hey, there's new opportunities here. How can I grow? How can I do things better? How can I challenge myself? Even if they're not giving you more responsibility, or something is changing, like, how do I make that better for me? So it's all about your mindset, and having that positive outlook is so important. And I will say, like, it doesn't hurt to have a buddy in this situation. Like, have somebody that you're close to at work, or like have a relationship with, or maybe you have a friend outside that's like, I know that I'm being very negative. I'm getting into this mindset, and like, self-check yourself and have a discussion about 100%. Like, how do I get out of this? Because the reality is, it's going to come. It's going to happen. Like, there's going to be an instance at work where you feel like you're completely on an island compared to everybody else, even though probably you're not as on an island as you think you are. Right. But it's going to happen. And so get a buddy that can help you be like, okay, I need to refocus on this. I need to put my mindset on what I'm doing, and I need to think of it positively, and help you get to that place. And I think that's a super great thing that's helped me of going down. And, Jen and I have done it for each other. We have other people that we work with that we will just go in and close the door and be like, I'm just frustrated. And I like, and we kind of talk through it with each other, and we try and find kind of talk each other off the ledge. Hopefully most of the time we're not talking each other to jump more than really. No, maybe a few times, but that's about it. But really just having like that conversation of like, how can we look at this a different way, or where am I getting stuck in this? And how can you help me reframe my mind, my mindset of it? And it can be really helpful. Yeah, I think that's really, really good. I like that one a lot. And it's perfect. It perfectly leads into my next one, which would be number 4. And it's from Kat Cheney, who's one of our favorites. And it's about having that support system. And you just kind of said that about having a buddy who you can go to, and Morey and I are that for each other. And we have other people that we in our lives, whether it's outside of work or inside of work, that are there for us. And I think the way Kat put it, and for me, this was a really like a good one to hear as a female in the industry, is like that support system can help you be able to, I don't want to say be like superwoman, but you can still have your career in athletics, which she's had a career in athletics for over 20 years, and be able to be a great mom at the same time, and have 2 kids and raise them and be there and have a great partner to do it with. And sometimes I think women in the industry, and more, you can jump in if men feel the same way, but I feel like women sometimes feel like they have to choose between their careers and their families. And Kat is a perfect example of somebody who didn't have to make that choice and was able to do both and be really successful. And now there are some days, and I'll say it, like some days I feel like I'm crushing it at work and I suck as a mom. And then there are some days I feel like I suck at work and I'm crushing it as a mom. And that's just life. You're never going to find the perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. But to be able to see other females do it in the industry and be a part of success and continued growth and longevity, and people that respect her. I mean, we just did something at work where we had to pick employees that we thought were a great representation of Syracuse University. And Kat was hands down the winner, and everybody picked Kat, which is so cool because she's just such a great example for not only females, but for males too, to be able to juggle family life. Like, you have a family, Morey, you have kids, like you have to make time for that too. So I really think that support system, like she said, like her husband and like the people that she works with and the coaches that she works with and her coworkers and her family and her friends, like they're all a support system to help you through in a career that's not a normal career. We don't have a normal career. So that support system, we kind of just touched on it, is so important to your success. This isn't like everybody says, like it takes a village. Like that's such a true statement. It's not just you alone, in your success. So that one was good for me.
I will say, I think that men face a similar issue, but it comes up at a different time. I think women, unfortunately, have that narrative kind of connected to them early on. And honestly, I feel like when I talk to people that have like been in the industry and are having kids, it kind of hits them when the kids come. Like it's not that, it's kind of a different timing. And especially I feel like in athletics, where especially in that point in your career, usually with that specific age, like you are in the hunt and you're very like, and you've probably spent a lot of your time like trying to advance yourself and get stuff so that you can be successful for your family. And now it's like, okay, well, how do I make this work? And it kind of hits you all at once. I mean, like the thing for me that came up is, we have to, and my wife's amazing. I won't say anything but how amazing she is. But there was a point of time of like, we can't figure out how to take care of like the bus pickup. And I was so used to waking up really early in the morning, going to work, getting all this stuff done before people actually showed up into work. And we had a conversation like for us to work financially, logistically with our family, like I have to put the kids on the bus. And that was an adjustment for me. It was the right thing for our family and it's done the right thing, but it's not something that I was prepared for and thought about until it came up and had to happen. And it's definitely not the same as some of our female colleagues who definitely I think have had to think through a lot of things, but just that whole idea of like, how do you work as a support system together? How do you find those solutions, and how do you adjust a little bit in your career to make it work on both sides so that my wife can get to her career and make sure that she's flourishing? And then, I've been very lucky that she's able to, take up a lot of time. For me to just stay home for that little bit of the morning is not as big of an impact on what she does a lot of times when I'm not home at periods of time for long stretches. So it is an adjustment, and it's probably something for like, if you're in that age group where you're, just getting married and starting to think about kids, like be prepared to have those discussions, like work with your family and your support system, and everyone should be able to have it all. But that takes work. Like that doesn't just happen. And
right.
I think that Kat will probably be the first one to tell you that. Like Kat's someone I think that is a hard worker at not just what she does at work, but in her family life, to make sure that this all fits together, and you have to be conscious and make efforts, and it's on you to do that. There is no magic wand that says, okay, this is how this is going to work.
There's not a perfect answer.
No.
Yeah. I think people think there's always like a perfect work-life balance, and there never will be.
Right.
So when you accept that, like, I think that's a big thing for me. Like, I learned, like, there's never going to be a work-life balance. Like, it's never going to be like you spend this amount of time at work and this amount of time at home and everything is perfect. You're never going to find that.
It's a continuum.
It's right.
It's going to ebb
changes.
And flow.
It changes. Yeah. And I think when you accept that, because I think me, who's like a type A person that needs to have everything organized and everything like set and in place, it's hard for someone like that to be like, we're never going to have an answer. Like, this is never going to be perfect. Like,
and that's a lot of people in the athletics industry, a huge portion of it.
So coming to terms with that and accepting that, and knowing that some days it's going to work and some days it's not going to work, but being open to having those communications. And I think, I've been really lucky. We have great bosses. Even our new athletic director has made it really clear, like, family is super
a priority.
Like, my kids are going to be running around and going to be there. And like, I'm not going to check when you clock in and when you clock out. And like, to have that, to know that, like, okay, if I'm leaving at 4:00, it's okay. I'm going to go pick up my kids. I'm not like going out and having a great time, but I am having a good time because I'm with my kids. And so to know that there's that support there, I think is really great. And hopefully that is something that is more accepted and easier for especially females to be able to try to have it all. And you can be a mom, and you can do it, because I'm doing it, Kat's doing it, and we've had numerous guests that are moms and successful, whether it's in coaching or if it's professional or if it's in college or whatever. Like, there are women doing it, and it's great. It's awesome. And don't shy away from that, because I think females are like, I got to make a choice. There's a point where I have to make a choice. You don't have to. You just have to be able to work through and have a great support system to help you do it. So
awesome.
That one's good.
Well, I think we're going to tag team this last one together.
Yeah.
So if you want to cue it up.
So obviously everybody knows the last question is, what do you know now that you wish you knew then? And so it's a little different now. So I think we kind of talked about, like, what was the big common theme that people said about what do they know now that they wish they knew? What do they know now that they wish they knew then? And everybody kind of said it. Says it in different ways and has different anecdotes and how they got there. But I think this was kind of a common theme. So, Morey, I don't know if you want to explain it a little bit, but I think we both kind of landed on this one.
So you cue it up. I want to make sure I say it right.
So
you had it better,
I said it,
than
and I think it's more of like, it's a sprint, or it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like, your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon. In the fact of, you don't have to know everything right off the bat. And that's so important if you're listening and you're young and you're an intern, or you're in college, or you're getting right out of college, or in your first job. Like, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have everything figured out, because you're going to learn. And right now, whether we're in the middle of our career, towards the end of our careers, wherever we're at, we're still learning. I still don't know everything. And I don't think I ever will. Even if you ask Herm Fraser, our good buddy who just retired, I feel like he would say to me,
constantly learning.
I still didn't know everything. And I've been in the industry for 50 years.
And he's still learning. Like, there'll be things that he'll text me and be like, hey, I saw this article or did this. And, the whole concept, and it kind of goes back to like what we talked about earlier, is like, you, as a young person, you don't have to put that pressure on yourself. It's not worth it. It's not going to put you in a good spot. It's not going to put anyone around you. It's be open to say, like, I want to learn. I want to sit there and listen and take it in, like we talked about. And at the end of the day, that's going to lead you to have these opportunities to be in the position where you can be an authority on something, because nobody's expecting the person that just got hired as a first-time coordinator or the person
to know everything, right?
Or that just got put in a new role that they haven't done before to have the answers. The reality is, if you try and pretend like you have the answers,
you're only going to make it worse. It's going to be
it's going to make it look like you're not credible in what you're doing. So,
correct.
It's about being strategic. It's about doing, the job the best you can, and bringing your knowledge base to it through listening and through, being willing to say, hey, this is not something I know about. Let me learn about it to get to how
it's okay. I think it's okay to say, I don't know. And I don't think and it's okay to say, I don't know at this point too. Like, I say that sometimes. Like, I have an email in my inbox right now and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do that. I need to do some research. I need to ask people. Like, I need to learn that process. And that's somebody who's been doing this for a while. And that's okay. And that's okay. And I don't think anybody is faulting anybody.
Yesterday, I had a parent that I was working with, a parent and a student. I got actually some very good advice from a new administrator that says never meet with a parent without the student. And never, that's a great point. And I was talking to them, and the parents asked a question, and I said, honestly, I can't give you that answer right now.
Right. And that's okay.
I don't have the accurate information to tell you, and I'm not just going to put out information that I'm not sure about. I know you want the answer for it. I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to get back to you. And that's what I did. I listened to what they had to say. I got to the question, and then I went and did some research and really felt comfortable with how I could answer it, and went back to them and said, here's what we can do for you. And that was the right way to handle it, because if I just guessed it and I got to make sure that I look like I know what I'm doing, the reality is if you say something that's inaccurate, you really don't know what you're doing.
Right. And that hurts you in the long run.
That's worse than looking like you don't know what you're doing. That means you really don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
So, don't feel like you have to be the loudest voice in the room, and don't feel like you need to know everything, because it will come in time.
Right. And again, you never will know everything. So I love how that kind of wrapped it all up.
Came all back around.
A perfect little bow. We can do this solo thing. We could. If you guys like this, let us know. And we can always, kind of give some tips in real life examples here too. So this has been good. So, but yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Time to wrap it up.
Yeah. So thanks everybody again for listening. And obviously my usual spiel of make sure you're following us on all our social channels at Ath Career Pod, and liking us and sharing, rating, reviewing on all the podcast platforms. And this has been great. New episodes dropping
every Tuesday.
There you go, Morey. Throw that in. New episodes every Tuesday. So we hope you guys have liked this, and we will talk to you soon. Bye everybody.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.